Hi, I'm Amy K Bormet, and I'm here at Capitol Hill Arts Workshop. I am a pianist and a vocalist and a composer here in Washington, D.C. I actually live on Capitol Hill. And I started the Washington Women in Jazz Festival 10 years ago, and I also am a recording artist with Strange Woman Records.
Welcome, Amy. So I know that you were also a Shaw alumni a couple of years ago. So excited to have you back for this Music Spotlight series.
It's my pleasure to be here. I love Capitol Hill Arts Workshop. I've pushed all the pianos around to all the different places on Capitol Hill, and this is one of my favorites.
All right, so let's tell our young audience a little bit, what is your first musical experience?
Sure. My mom was actually my first musical experience. We have my mother's piano that is an old player piano. And when I grew up, we would put piano rolls in it, these big pieces of paper with holes in them, and you put it into the piano, and you clip it in, and you push the foot pedals, and the air comes through, and the pressure of the air makes the keys go down. So that was my first musical experience, was trying to follow the keys on the player piano. And I wasn't really tall enough to push the pedals down, so I had to have my older brother, push the pedals down for me, or my mom push the pedals down for me, and try to figure out how the songs go and pretend that I was playing myself. And then I just, my house was full of singing, and luckily I was born into a family that loves music, to sing and play, and my mother played the clarinet a lot when I was growing up, so I just sort of fell into it, and the joy of being able to make music with people that I love. I am a jazz composer primarily, and I love to write music, and I love to perform music, and jazz is really the best genre because you can do a little bit of everything and incorporate it back into your music. And I started playing jazz mostly here in Washington, D.C. I went to Duke Ellington School of the Arts, named after, of course, the famous jazz musician Duke Ellington, a pianist, a composer himself, and that's somebody that I just grew up being in love with Duke Ellington's music, playing his music, and being immersed in an environment of a traditional black American music here in D.C., which is so strong. And I was lucky enough to be brought into the fold of that with Davy Yarborough over at Duke Ellington School of the Arts and also Washington Jazz Arts Institute. So from there, I just fell in love with the music, with improvising, and with this amazing community here in D.C. of jazz musicians, and I never looked back.
Thank you so much. So in your conversation just now, you mentioned a word that's very interesting to me. I hear that a lot in jazz music, improvisation. Can you please tell our young audience a little bit more what that is?
Sure. So the beautiful thing about improvisation is that you don't need any music. You don't need any sheet music. That's traditionally, a lot of people think, oh, I have to play music by reading, but it's not true. We speak all the time, and we don't read the words that we're speaking. So we read books to inform us and give us new vocabulary, but we don't need that to speak. Children speak naturally by listening and imitating the sounds that they hear around them. So improvisation is the same sort of thing, where we're improvising every day in our speech. We can do the same thing by improvising on the piano. So a lot of people know the C major scale. We can just improvise on the C major scale, starting on C. We can do whatever we want. So it's just a matter of being comfortable with coming up with new ideas, but also listening constantly to what's happening around you, like you would if you were learning a new language, and taking other people's ideas and trying to replicate them. So it's a developmental process and a language, and when you bring other people in, then it's a real conversation.
Thank you so much. That's so interesting. So I know that you're a very high demand musician. So I'm going to quickly ask that question. That past 2 years, how that been to you? Like, it's pandemic, I assume.
Yeah, so the pandemic has been difficult, I think, for everyone in the arts community, in the music community. I'm sure here at Capitol Hill Arts Workshop, it's been a difficult time, and we all had to change what we were doing so that we could try to do it in a remote way. But it's never the same. It's been so mind-blowing, and I've been brought to tears many times this summer just being back with other musicians and being with the audience and being with real people again, because I was at home by myself and I was writing a lot of music, and I was connecting with other musicians online, but it's not the same as real people making real music in real time. So I'm grateful for all of the opportunities that I had to live stream. I did a live stream from the Kennedy Center. I did a live stream from the Craft in America Center in Los Angeles. I did a lot of different live streaming concerts, but it's very difficult to set everything up and then perform and then make sure the Wi-Fi is still working and then respond to the comments. And then it's a completely different skill set that I think a lot of musicians had to learn. And of course, I did a lot of recording. Spent this time going into the studio. There's a wonderful studio in Tacoma called Tonal Park that I love. They have a beautiful Steinway there. And so I did a lot of recording there of new music by myself, and sometimes recorded with a click track, which is something that gives you the tempo in your ear so that you can make sure that you stay in tempo, and you can send it off to other people and they'll hear that tempo too. So I did a lot of collaborations that way. With drummers and bass players and singers and violinists, recording music for different people during the pandemic as well.
Thank you so much for sharing, and welcome back. So please
Thank
stay
you.
with us all.
I'll come back all the time. I love it here.